Thank you, Mr. President. Honorable members of the Assembly, the month of January is a month of mourning for all the democratic forces in Turkey who believe in the right to freedom of expression, as well as free, independent and pluralistic media. It's a month of mourning because 3 journalists in Turkey have been killed in January. On January 24, 1993, Uğur Mumcu, a prominent investigative journalist of the newspaper Cumhuriyet, was murdered by a terrorist attack in Ankara. On January 8, 1996, another journalist of the newspaper Evrensel was murdered in Istanbul, Metin, Göktepe. On January 19, 2007, Hrant Dink, another prominent writer and journalist of newspaper Agos, was murdered in Istanbul. Therefore, the fact that we are discussing the report on threats to media freedom and journalists in our January session has a very important meaning for the public opinion in Turkey, and I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the rapporteur for the excellent report he has prepared for our consideration. The report refers to all the abuses of freedom of expression and rights of journalists in various member countries, and all the recommendations in this report are very pertinent. This report also comes at a time when we observe an increasing number of intimidation, harassment, and attacks against the safety and security of journalists. There are various forms of such intimidation. For example, labeling journalists as terrorists is one such method. In Turkey, such a method is frequently used. When there is talk about detained journalists in Turkey, the usual response you hear from the authorities is based on arguments that those people are not in prison because of their activities of journalism, but that they are charged with other criminal offenses. It is therefore very appropriate that the report calls for ending the abuse of penal code and anti-terrorism laws to silence journalists. In 2019, 33 journalists and media workers were sentenced to 63 years and 11 months of imprisonment in Turkey as part of their journalistic activities or political reasons. It is very important that the government should act in full respect of the Council of Europe standards concerning the right to freedom of expression, and here comes the necessity of reassuring the safety of journalists. We parliamentarians have a major responsibility in this context. The principles enshrined in the European Convention on Human Rights are our fundamental reference, and I have to underline that many court decisions fail to comply with the recommendations of the Venice Commission or with the decisions of the European Court on Human Rights. I support the report as it is, and I hope it will become a basic reference to correct all the wrongdoings in each and every member mentioned in it in due course. Thank you.